so little and getting so little respect and credit, and it's like, man, when you draw comics, if you're not getting paid, you should at least get credited. And so it really caused me to have like a kind of a profound little like semi breakdown. And so I finished the project that I was on and kind of decided to quit comics at least for a while until I get my brain back together and get interested in drawing comics again. But as soon as I did, I thought, oh, cool, now I can do competitive.
Yeah. It's like doing creative, like running 8 miles, every day. You don't want to then also go run another mile.
Right.
Creatively, yeah. So,
do a lot of fun.
yeah. The comics, oh yeah.
Comics, that's just labor, man.
And the problem is, I was talking about Jason Burroughs. He and I had kind of the same problem. We have the same issue, which is we're both really detail oriented. We spend a bunch of time on backgrounds and little tiny minutia and that kind of thing. And we can't abstract anything. Like some artists, like Mike Mignola, he went from a really Michael Golden-esque, like super detailed style, like in the original Rocket Raccoon 4 issue deal. But if you look at his stuff, it very quickly progressed to his style now, which is highly abstracted. He doesn't put a lot of detail and stuff. I cannot do that. It takes me longer to draw less detail than it does to just draw the detail.
Yes. I'm right there with you about Rocky.
So
it kills me, man. And I wish I could, because there's a certain artistic badassness to being able to say, I want to abstract this part of the drawing or the image or whatever. It's kind of like stepping from Jedi Knight to Jedi Master.
That's the difference between professional and expert. Like, professionals will do everything, and they're going to do it well. But an expert is going to know not only how to do it, but how to do it quickly and effectively, and weed out all the nonsense. Which is also, like, effectively cut corners.
Not Mel Blanc, but the main, was it Chris Freeling, the lead animator for Warner Brothers back in the Looney Tunes days. He said the definition of the best artist in the room is someone who can draw quickly and with authority. And I thought, wow, what a dope definition that is. Like the idea of drawing with authority, meaning, you can draw it quickly and it looks good. It has all the weight necessary. It hits all the boxes.
Are people able to hear this on Facebook right now?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you guys want to check and see if we're running it, because share it around.
I just want to find out, because this is like show gold. You guys.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. I suppose I could have waited. So.
No, I wish I would have got it whenever you were talking about your diagnosis.
If you want, bring it up and I'll talk a little bit about it.
That would be intriguing to find out about myself. My son swears I must have that, and he describes things the reason why, and I'm like, oh, if that's true, then you might be right.
My neuropsychologist said that people of the Generation X generation, so born between like 68 and 76, I think, there was this huge spike in ADHD that didn't get diagnosed in children because unless you were hyperactive as a child, which I was not. And so, it probably wouldn't hurt. They don't know why there was this giant spike in ADHD for that generation. They suspect it's something environmental that probably our parents did, like maybe packaged foods, or, maybe they all smoked and drank while they were pregnant. I don't know.
But our generation handled it. We got
well, I mean, what choice did we have?
I mean, I guess. Like, I survived a car wreck. Like, cool. I did just fine without one. Thank you.
We just rubbed some dirt on it and we kept going.
Now, my parents were pretty progressive. Like, I mean, but I don't know. It's not the same as it. I don't know. Like, my parents were like right in between, where they were really cool and progressive, but they were also like, screw it, like let him just be a kid and like get into trouble. And I was smart enough to not get in trouble to where they knew about it. So And I mean, but I was also a free speaker because they let me talk, they let me speak my mind, and I deserved to get slapped in the mouth for a time or two, but I never was. So, I mean, kudos to them. I turned out okay, but I think that was luck.
I'm about as typical a Gen X kid as you can get. I was raised by a single mom who was working 2 jobs pretty much all the time. So I was very latchkey, kind of raised myself, which didn't help me later in life when I realized that self-discipline is a thing you should have learned when you're a child,
Man, we are just getting deep tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
The show hasn't even started.
Give me just a second.
We get deep now, we're gonna get creepy here soon.
Aw, yeah. Gruesome.
What's funny is I'm kind of excited to see what you guys did with Evil, because whenever we have like really flowery happy prompts, at least a couple of you go scary. Now you can really let go.
I know, it's so funny how it doesn't matter what it is. It's someone does something that's horror related. It's almost in every episode, and it's not me. All the time. It's funny how this kind of goes back.
Dude, that last scary thing you shared. Oh, I can't remember what it was. It was very recently, a couple weeks ago.
Oh, you're talking about the possessed woman on the wall?
Yes. I scrolled past it and gasped. It frightened me, and I turned my phone around to show Mike across the room, and he gasped.
Yes.
Are you shocked that was Gary? He goes, I knew that was Gary.
Good. You know who does that? Or who did that for me back in the day was Stephen Gamble, the guy that did Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah.
I remember being in junior high and it being nighttime. There were just certain pages I just could not look at the illustrations because they were just really rent free.
Adam, it just now uploaded the image of Ultimate Warrior with my face. So it's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, how flattering! But then it shows the image. It uploaded when I opened it. It recycled and it showed the image. I'm like, oh, now I get it.
When you watch this on YouTube, they'll have a picture. It should have a picture of it. You should pull that up on there.
Put it in the chat. Yeah, I do. No one knows this. I do that to Nate every single time we're on this call together.
Well, one time there was an episode that before we went live, we got a knock on the door, and I see on the camera somebody with majestic hair scurrying off, and apparently Gary did too. And it's like, not only did you draw your character, but you fully designed, painted, printed and painted, which is in my tattoo station, by the way. I have it.
Oh,
yeah, I know mine's right there.
Yay!
Mine was at the house 3 houses up.
Yes, I was so nervous about that.
He's like, it's there. I'm like, no, it's not.
They were having a party, and I was creeping in on their stuff during COVID, putting a present down.
Well, then I had to creep over and steal something off of their porch.
Alrighty.
So are we ready, ladies and gentlemen?
Are we about ready?
I'm ready.
Alright.
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright.
Good talk, team.
2, 1.
Hey there, fellow art nerds, and welcome to episode number 2 of season number 5 of the Pin Clique. Thank you for joining us tonight. I forgot to minimize my Facebook screen, so I just saw the delay. So, always something that throws me. And did I say season 5? It is season 5. I should know what you're doing. By the way, my name is Deanna. I'll be your host for the evening, along with my talented co-host, Mr. Gary Bedell.
Hello, Internet Land. Thank you for coming out. Good to see you.
There's his voice. You can see his face very shortly with the rest of the clique. Let me see. If you're new to the Pin Clique, real quick, thanks for joining us, by the way, newbies. We are a monthly online art show, September through April, where we have a rotating roster of artists that join our clique, and then they give their own spin on whatever that month's unique prompt is. And this month, let's see, they are concepting evil, a perfect theme for a spooky season. I love Halloween so much. So I'm going to read off my script that I wrote because it makes more sense and I get flustered. If you're a regular, you know that. But the dictionary defines evil as profound immorality and wickedness, synonymous with nefarious, vile, corrupt, vicious, depraved, and sinful. Being evil is most often thought of as having a destructive nature and taking pleasure in intentionally hurting others. So, a thrilling type of character to watch in a movie, your favorite horror movie, or maybe read in a comic book. Not the kind of person you want to be next to in real life, for sure. So tonight, we have asked our talented clique of artists to visually show us their depiction of evil and creating a character sheet. It's the kind like that an artist would make for an FX movie creature. So let me see. I think that was everything that needed to be said about tonight's episode. So let's bring out the clique, and you can see who is joining us tonight to concept evil.
Hi. It's us.
Hello.
I think everybody has to wait for my cue.
Also, anybody that's new, Nate is doing all the background producing stuff. So I just sit here and smile, hoping there's other people on screen with me. I really can't see. Always fun though. So now you can see Mr. Gary Vidal.
Hello, Internet Land.
Yay.
Again, thank you for coming.
Do the wave.
And all you artists, thank you for coming tonight and doing this project. I think it's going to be super awesome seeing what you guys came up with. I know all you guys personally, so I know that you guys are going to just blow my mind tonight. So, and all you out there in the in Internet Land will feel the same way. Trust me, these guys are so talented. I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't know if I said it when we were on air or if I said it before we went vocal, but this clique tends to do scary even when it's not a scary prompt. So tonight I'm super excited when that happens.
Actually, there was one we should have gone completely, absolutely, horribly ugly, but we actually went more beautiful. Like, yeah, it was still creepy, but it was surprising. Like, I was the one that like doubled down on the gore, and I'm like, okay, fine. Like
you missed the assignment. Rachel is saying the audio is a little echoey, but not terrible at the moment.
Yeah,
just
I'm kind of wondering what it is.
Well, anyway, this is Nate Howard, who is doing all the production headache in the background.
Yeah,
it could be my microphone. I ended up bringing a different microphone, so I don't know if the gain. I mean, my gain's all the way down, so I don't know. It might just be picking up.
All right. Well,
hopefully it's
let
better.
us know, Internet Land, if it keeps happening.
Yeah.
Nate will fix it. We'll ignore it. But also tonight we have Eric E. Danger Wright.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We have got Josh Metter.
What's up?
And then back from season 1, I think.
Yeah. Season 1.
Not season 2 at all, right? Season 1.
Season
Adam
1.
McLaughlin.
Woo!
Woo! And Blackie Shepherd.
Woo!
Absalom.
From season 1, episode 1. I think that was the last time we saw you.
Yeah.
I thought you did a couple. No. Okay.
Yeah.
That was
No,
not
it
too
was
long.
just-
Adam did multiple ones. Blackie
Yeah.
did season 1, episode 1.
Okay.
And all you out there in Internet Land can go back and watch those episodes on the Clever Kaiju YouTube.
You totally should do it.
There it is. Way to plug my.
Gary. Good. I'm doing that bad thing where I forgot. I'm not supposed to point because my screen is different. What's showing on Facebook?
We should figure out how to do the Brady Bunch thing where we like look at each other.
Yeah.
You know. Like,
Well, what's great is that like mine is
There's
correct,
an evil.
and everybody sees mine. So I'm gonna
So
pick
you
your
know
nose.
what's going on.
We should figure out how to pass like a pen between each screen, like everybody has the same pen.
That'd be hilarious.
Oh, we need a Pink Clique mascot. Who's drawing that?
That'd be hilarious.
I figured it was-
We'll have to figure that out.
It was Axe Face with like a pencil behind his ear or something, wasn't it?
It could be. So, who's going tonight? I'm ready to see some art. How about you?
I am too. I am too, and I have got the random order right here. And we are starting, since it's been so long. Blackie, you're going to go first.
All right.
Hey.
So I did a character from a film that I've been a fan of since I was a small child called Wizards. The bad guy in Wizards was a character named Black Wolf. And the thing that I like about evil is that there's the difference between bad and evil, right? So bad is you're driving down the road, you jump a curb and hit somebody and kill them. That's bad, right? Evil is the presence of intent. You know, volition makes something evil, right? So you're driving down the road, you intentionally hit the curb, pop up, and kill somebody. In Wizards, you have this story where you have these two brothers, and one of them discovers a trove of old Nazi war films. And this is set like way in the future after the, you know, stereotypical Third World War or whatever, and it's fairies and elves and stuff like that. But he discovers this trove of Nazi propaganda and the war machine, basically, the Wehrmacht, and brings it back to life. And what I always found interesting was there were these really, some of it's super on the nose. It's Ralph Bakshi, so, you know, he wasn't always terribly subtle. But some of it's super on the nose, but some of it's kind of a little bit under the surface. Like you have a soldier for the bad guys who gets kind of damaged and changes his name to Peace, and is a through-line character. You have the fact that the two main characters, the protagonist named Avatar, is named Avatar, so he's kind of supposed to be everybody. And he is very coded as Jewish, almost uncomfortably so. Like if you look at it now, it's a little bit like stereotypical, but I think it plays into the larger point of the film because his brother, who was from, if I recall correctly, a different mother or the same mother, different father, because they don't appear similarly at all, becomes this basically new Hitler. And I always thought it was really interesting the way that they talked about what people do to each other, and more importantly, what people do to those that they love or are close or intimate with. So anyhow, let me bring the image up. So I took the idea that I would basically take it as though we were making a new version of Wizards. And so I wanted to introduce some new ideas to the way Black Wolf is presented. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in the original movie, he was, drawn in Bakshi's style. The kind of gimmick that Bakshi used was he had bones for arms, but Bakshi had flipped it around. He had the two, I can't remember what they're called, the two bones that are your forearm up on top, and he had a single bone leading down to the wrist. Doesn't make any sense, so I flipped that around. But then I also wanted to change the overall look of the hair. He was kind of a typical evil wizard looking guy. He had the long flowing beard and the long flowing hair. I wanted something that was a little bit tighter and a little bit more angular. I also wanted to add some detail to his face. I've always been a big fan of, does that scroll and pan when I do this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, good. So I always liked the idea of a segmented face. You'll see that in a lot of the villains that I design. I don't know why I think it's so interesting to me, but it's almost always done to a villain. And I think it has something to do with visually describing the nature of their evil, the kind of the fact that they're fragmented in a way, and that, you know, evil people never really think they're evil. They always think they're the good guy. At least the most compelling evil characters, they think they're doing the right thing. And so, but on the other hand, they have to know, because they're generally pretty intelligent characters, they have to know what they're doing is harmful. So there's got to be some weird dichotomy or division inside of them. And I think I'm kind of psychoanalyzing myself now, but I think that when I divide their faces into these vertical lines that you see running down his, you know, from his forehead through his eye down to his chin, and then one. I think I'm trying to indicate that that kind of that duality in his nature. I don't know. And then I stuck with the base coloration. I like the idea that his skin is kind of pale gray, that he's got those hard red eyes and the glowing yellow pupil. But then, yeah, I wanted to give him a haircut and a beard trim.
Dude,
And then,
awesome.
so I wanted them to have a more, in the original movie, he's got basically just a robe, is what he wears, a black robe. But I wanted something that was going to look more like a uniform when it needed to be, and something that could be more ceremonial when it needed to be. Because, you know, if you're going to lead a rite, you need to wear a uniform. And so I came up with what would be kind of an undersuit, you know, and so I thought kind of almost like a jumpsuit. But then I wanted to give him a swastika, but nothing too direct. So I gave him kind of a stylized swastika in his chest.
Still counts.
That was
And then
hidden nicely. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
notice.
I didn't want it to be like right in your face, but I wanted it to be something that you noticed if you were looking. And then I was hoping to indicate that the suit was made of kind of leather at the top for the, you know, for the top part, and then kind of a nylon or a cloth for the underlying bodysuit. And then, of course, you know, boots. Now, one thing that I didn't give him normal human proportions, and I think part of that is I was kind of nodding to the cartoony proportions from the original work. And then also, a lot of Ralph Bakshi's characters, and this is something that influenced me from when I was a kid, and it has stuck with me my whole life. I tend to draw them with really big feet. Like starting at the knee, the legs get bigger and bigger. And I actually had to tone it down on this because I went super big for a minute and I thought, okay, now he just looks crazy. And then over here, this is where I wanted to give him something that he would wear over his suit that gives him, you know, that ceremonial vibe. And of course, he's going to need to hide his face because that's what cowards do. And ultimately, my personal opinion is that someone who is overtly evil, there's a deep cowardice there. And I find that's true in real life. Anybody that I've ever met that was a bad person, there was usually some cowardice behind why they were bad. They were afraid of the world, or they were afraid of some reality that was out there that would expose them, or that they couldn't defend themselves against, or something like that. And so I always thought that the KKK was a great emblem of that. You know, you had these people that supposedly were, you know, willing to die for the fatherland and, you know, do the whole nine, but then they weren't big enough to show their faces while they were doing it. And so, of course, I had to give them a somewhat reminiscent veil like the KKK wear. And then for the robes, I really just kind of tried to bite off Clytus from Flash Gordon. You know, I wanted to go with that. I'm sorry?
No, yeah, I get it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really, I just kind of like the angular vibe that the design, all of the design from the Dino De Laurentiis Flash Gordon is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I just kind of wanted to go for that. So like the undersuit would be super utilitarian looking, but the over robes would be kind of almost unwieldy and not very useful, but made to look intimidating and inspire grandeur and of course hide his face. So let's see here. So that's kind of my thought process running through it. Anybody got any questions?
Well, I was gonna make when you were mentioning the face. Yeah, actually, while you got with the lines and like the basically the signs of evil. Like you said, he's a smart guy. He's gonna look in the mirror and wonder like, where does all that come from? Like it kind of reminds me. I'm a total nerd, so my wife and I play Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO.
Oh yeah.
But there's a toggle where as you do bad things and you get more and more dark points and dark side, your character starts to get decrepit and gross looking.
I don't remember where I read it. But it might have been in one of the Dune books. But basically, they said that the physical body is like a vessel, and if you fill that vessel with hate and malice, it corrodes the vessel.
Right. And what's great is that like you can toggle it on and off. So if you really like your beautiful face but still want to be evil, you can. But it's like dark side damage looks very similar to this sort of thing. So yeah, you're definitely touching on something that's a good explanation. The whole like the vessel itself can't help but get destroyed by it.
Yeah, you can see the ugly inside reflected on the outside.
Yeah. As soon as I saw this, I was like, yeah, he's Sith.
Yeah. If only from the red eyes.
Right. Yeah.
I like that it takes things from like fantasy and fairy tale, but mixes it with like real life horrors.
Yeah.
Like
that's one of the things. As much as I love Wizards, it's very much visually a product of its time.
Oh, dude, totally.
It is as 1974 as a piece of art gets, which is, I think, when it came out. I'm probably wrong. It's probably 1978 or something closer to 80, but it's very 70s feeling. And so I wanted to still bring some of that in, but update it to a little bit more modern sensibility.
Yeah. I know how to do those arms in production. They would just like put big old green screen arms on them.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, so in real life, they would probably have to, they do makeup on the shoulder and then give him basically a green sleeve that led down to the makeup on his hands, and then just CGI in the bones.
Exactly. Like all of it is functional. I love that. See, of course, the line work is beautiful.
Well, thank you, sir.
Gorgeous, and the hair is nice. Hair is super nice, dude. Love that.
Well, thank you.
And of course, the line work's always clean. Beautiful stuff. What brushes do you use for this?
I pretty much, so I work when I start working digital. I work in Clip Studio, and I think I pretty much have just made my own brushes. I use a kind of a dirty brush with a double texture. Mm-hmm. So in a update, I want to say it's probably a year old now, they gave you the ability to kind of stack a texture on top of another texture. And so I use a really, let me see if I can, I don't know if I can change focus and bring up Clip Studio and let you guys see it. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing Clip Studio open?
We see your piece.
Art. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I might not be able to share my Clip Studio screen with you.
If it gives you different options of what's so you can share screen and then you can share app or share window.
Let me try that. Let me get Clip Studio open, and the only problem with Clip Studio is now because they check the license every time you open it because it's subscription and I hate them. Sometimes it takes a really long time for their license server to respond. But anyways, I'm pretty sure I use, for the most part, if not wholly created new brushes, something that's so crazy modified that it'd be hard for me to say, like, download this. Now, I do know that pretty much all of my brushes start from an artist, Daub, D-A-U-B. So if you look up like Daub brushes, his stuff is fantastic. And I used his brushes as a base for pretty much everything. And then for when I paint, I use almost always watercolor, and it's one of Daub's standard watercolor brushes, just, soft watercolor with transparency. Yeah, it's taken forever.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
This is great stuff, man.
Rachel Norton on the on Facebook, it was like, love the details and the whole thought process. The arms are gnarly in the best way.
Yeah, that was what, like I said, that's the gimmick, that's the thing that made him dope looking, back in the 70s, and I thought, I've got to figure out a way to do that and kind of dress it up. One of the, because of the limitations of animation at the time, you couldn't put a whole lot of detail in that. So they were really just bare bones. But I thought, well, I've got to put some tissue on there just in my own head to justify the fact that it can move.
Yeah.
And so, I thought I got to put and plus, if given the opportunity, I'm going to throw a little gore and gnarliness on stuff.
Yeah, well done, man. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah, it
appreciate
looks great. Mm-hmm.
Way to come back.
Yeah.
Hey, that's right.
I think season
All
1,
right, so
episode
let's see
1,
here. I guess I'll kill this share.
Your
let me see.
Dr. Bong was like a very it was a mummy type of approach.
Oh, that's right. That's what I did for the first.
So it's like this.
right,
I mean, side by
Dr.
side,
Bong.
man. It's like you got a trend for sure. That's
Man, I'll tell you, I'm a very predictable monkey. If given the chance, I'm gonna try to make it really gruesome and kind of off-putting. I really like off-putting. I guess that's why in my art career, I've pretty much gravitated towards horror art. Bernie Wrightson had an outsized effect on me. When I draw something, I'm always trying to think, well, how can I make that weirder?
Yeah.
I love how every single piece of him, the detail was there for a good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. Now, sometimes weird for weird's sake works really well. Most of the time, though, the more satisfying weird is when it's weird for a reason, when there's some underlying explanation. Even if you don't hit the viewer over the head with the reason, someone who looks at it and thinks about it for just a second can go, oh, I get it. I see why that has this thing there. It's because this is happening, Like when I did the Pumpkinhead series with Cullen, he said, one of the demons is the demon of pride. And pride, biblically speaking, is one of the most profound sins that a person can, at least in the Christian deal, can indulge in. And so I thought, okay, pride would maybe be more of a sin than can be contained in one demonic body, right? One form. So I had the prime pride demon, but then he had a secondary form that was a person that was also prideful, but I called him the what was it, the hammer of iniquity or something like that. And basically it was a person who had been crunched down into like a scepter, and their head was on top of the scepter. and their sinew had been used to wrap around all their internal organs to make them like a staff. And the idea was that Pride would then jam him into the ground, and the mouth would open up, and he would vomit out all these maggots that would then consume its victim. Yeah, I was super proud of that, and the fact
Fresh Morning Star.
that Dynamite and Colin let me swing it was rad.
Yeah, that's badass.
You people are the reason I read so many horror comics now. I swear. What are you doing to me?
It grows on you.
Oh wow. All right. Well, thank you, Blackie. That was good as expected.
Very well done, man.
Yes.
All right, Eric, you're up next.
And
All right.
Eric, while you're doing this, I've got about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to quietly dip out, in about 10 minutes. So before you start, I'll just say bye to everybody. Thanks for having me on. And I think I'm set up for another episode sometime shortly, so we'll see
I
you
think
again.
next month. Are you doing
Rosetta?
Rosetta?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Very
Great.
We'll be back next month
Cool.
then.
Yeah.
Word.
That's
Yay.
exciting.
All right, Eric.
All
What
right.
evil are you bringing us tonight?
Danger.
So, I think everybody who knows me already knew that I was going to do a religious figure. Oh, and I totally forgot how to share from.
I thought you just explained it.
I helped Blackie find it, and then now I'm like, what did I do?
Well, last month you actually changed your whole setup.
Let's see.
We'll just do a dance in the meantime.
All right. And now I'm having issues.
And now we're
with
canceled.
Procreate. All right, sweet deal. That's a commercial.
Where'd you find it, Blackie?
Let's
funny
see
'cause
here.
on my
So
screen, he
down
leans
at the
over and
bottom, you hit share.
Yeah.
And then in the sub menu of share, depending on how you're going to share it, I'm guessing you've got it in your photos or in a folder somewhere. You should have either share screen or share photos, share Dropbox.
Okay. I don't know why it's not letting me share from Procreate. It's weird.
Hmm.
Okay. Let's see. May have to,
Do you need a minute?
edit it right quick.
Oh, there's also apps. So in the triple dot menu to the far right, there's an apps sub menu that if you click that, it gives you a list of apps will only appear if there's install. Oh, I don't think that's right. I think I'm leading you down a rabbit hole. Sorry.
We need some tech experts to start watching the show.
Well, it's
and
funny
chime
because
in.
whenever he leaned over his side of the screen to like figure it out on his own, it looked like he was leaning into Eric's screen. Like I was expecting his head to pop out and him to like guide him over his shoulder. It would have been funny. Do you have it uploaded anywhere, or is it just in your Procreate?
It's in my photos. I'll have it fixed here in just a second.
Okay.
Rachel gave your dance a 6.5, Nate.
Oh,
You
really?
need-
I'll
uh,
take it. I mean, there was like 4 dances in it, so it's like it's more of a mashup. I think that's a win. That's a passing grade, I think. Right?
While Eric's figuring this out, how did you guys approach the thought of making a character evil this month? Like, was it an immediate, I know what I'm doing, or did you have to really think about it?
I kind of agonized over it, actually. I thought, well, I want to do something original. And so I started thinking. And honestly, from where my head's at right now, I was thinking, I'm just going to wind up drawing some dude, because to me, the most evil thing is the banal. You know, the most scary aspect of evil to me is the banality of evil. How normal evil can be when it wears your perception of what's right and wrong down. The people around the evil start to just accept it as everyday. And if that's the case, then it's just going to be some dude. And so I thought, well, that's boring, you know. And then I started thinking, okay, well, maybe I'll do like a remake of something. So I went through my list of favorite evil characters. The first my first favorite evil character is Baron Karza from the Micronauts. But I thought he's a big job, man. Like that's going to take me a long time to really concept out and do a good job, and I don't want to shortchange it, you know. And then I thought about Evil from Time Bandits. And as much as I dislike the new Time Bandits show, the one thing they did get right is the new design of Evil. Now, they don't have David Warner to clasp the joint up, but the design of the character they did really well. So I kind of left that alone. And then Wizards was an easy third step.
Nice.
All right, I got it.
Got it.
Sweet.
All right.
Just in time.
All
Everybody
right.
was like, now do I have to explain my thought? I don't want to.
Actually,
I'll save it.
I'm not sure if that's sharing correctly. This is so weird. What is
You
going
did it
on?
last month.
I know, right? I'm so confused.
Apple could you
It's
take it?
just trying to like share it into like the chat or something. It's so weird. Oh, there it is.
There you
There it is.
Yeah, there we go.
There we
All
are.
right.
Oh, look at this guy.
So, again, obviously, I was going to do a religious figure and kind of wanted him to be a crossover of Kenneth Copeland and Oral Roberts. In particular, I am personally very frustrated by the stoplight out front of ORU. I really wish I could have worked that in. Unfortunately, I didn't quite get there. But
Well, I apologize. What do you mean by I'm not familiar with the area.
oh, so I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the backyard of Oral Roberts University. If you're not
Oh,
familiar-
ORU, Oral Robert. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Whew. And yeah, I don't know. His personality was the first thing I thought of when when evil was on the table. See.
Oh, that face.
There was an episode of
Yeah, the face is great. You definitely the Kenneth Copeland is bleeding through, unsettlingly so.
Yeah, it's the piercing eyes.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think he's the only one who nails that expression as well as he does.
Do I see
Yeah.
subtle pentagrams in his pupils?
Oh yeah, I can kind of see it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, his
All right,
Yeah,
I'm adding that detail next time, actually.
his pupils have like a star shape to them a little bit, at least on my side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that.
And I don't know. I thought about giving him a mask that he could put on to disguise the horns and all of that. And I just, I don't know. I didn't have enough time to work in all the details I wanted to, you know?
Yeah.
He looks
That'd
pretty
have been
evil
awesome.
right now.
Yeah.
Like, what are some of the other details you had in mind? Besides that mask sounds cool.
Well, again, I wanted to work in that stoplight in some way, or you know, some of the details about ORU, like the big statue of the praying hands and all of that, and just, you know, have it be so obviously a front for how horrible he is on the inside, you know?
This translates pretty well, and there was an episode that I wasn't able to do. I can't remember what season it was, but it was the Boogeyman episode. So was that season 2 or 3?
I will say it's 3.
But I have the SketchUp. I have the concept art for it, and in a way, I went like half religious, half politician, like almost like Two Face, doing very similar kind of. I'm like, I should finish this. It's probably the most like controversial thing I ever made, and it's not like it's going to be like, oh my gosh, slander, but it was. I'm pretty square, but like I see the direction you're going with this, and I probably, because I've done it myself. So,
That's so great though. So much personality in that character. So much personality. I can hear his voice already. And he probably sweats a lot.
Too.
The back of his jacket almost looks like a cape to me.
I was trying to get it like swinging out and like, so that I don't know, the way they do that thing to make themselves appear as large as possible to threaten you with or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway.
And a lot of this was like, what's his story? Is he still alive today? Is he
Oral Roberts?
Yeah.
I think he's been gone a while.
Okay.
But so right down the street from where I live, there's an Oral Roberts hospital. My mom's a pharmacist, said that she did the internship at the end of at the end of her education. She did her internship there, talking about people doing proselytization in the ER and shit like that. Like, just the grossest things you can imagine about religion. Like, Oral Roberts represents all of them. So
yeah, no, that's fair then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to zoom in before you're done, just so you can see details a little closer? I assume everyone needs glasses like me.
Yeah.
Is it zooming in for you guys?
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right, awesome.
Yeah, that shading always looks great, man.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I don't know. I'm working it up. I think it'll be a little bit crazier next month.
Yeah.
Is this pencil or is this digital?
This is all done in pencil.
Okay.
Okay, I was wondering too.
Mm-hmm.
You guys trick me with the digital sometimes, so.
All right.
James will like do stuff sometimes, and I can't tell if it's digital or traditional.
Yeah.
Like a pencil brush that he uses for some of his stuff, and if he does it like on a white background, I think it's pencil. I think he just drew it traditionally. Until he tells me, he's like, "Oh no, it's just a pencil brush." I'm like, "Oh damn, dude, that's gnarly."
Every now and then Haley will do something, and I was like, "Is that on your iPad or is that acrylic?" Because she translated her acrylic painting style to digital very effectively, and it's
Yeah.
Sweet, thank you, Eric.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, man, good stuff.
Yeah, man. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you like it.
That was awesome.
All right, Mr. Gary Bedell.
Oh man,
Never first, never last. It's your turn.
even at random. Let's go. So
when we have an odd number of people, it's easy to put you in the middle.
Let me get this up here. So for mine, I really took a different route. Well, one, I didn't get it completely finished. It's just it's pretty much 80 some odd % done. But you'll see what direction I went in and stuff like that once I share. But I wanted to take a different approach. When people usually interpret evil, they want to do everything so shrouded and dark and like, everything, it's just dark, because it's evil or whatever. But I wanted to do like someone who was wearing like lighter colors and brighter colors, and was very who would be very like important in like a Victorian time.
Did you
Um,
do a warm color palette?
Kind of, sort of. I will show you. And
Surprise.
believe it or not, my inspiration came from like I saw like a Victorian painting in like a wedding cake, and I was like, oh man, I think I know what I want to do. Um, let me share. Let me share my screen. My palette's on here too, so the
Oh.
Oh.
I want to do like this um like old woman who she's not really like a witch per se. I could see her being the type that would send witches to die, or people who are accused of witchcraft to die, but she does like stuff herself, like even probably stuff that's even worse.
Yeah.
Um, but I wanted to put her like in whites and golds, colors that like people that things that people would be drawn to, especially someone who was like poor in the Victorian era. They would like trust a woman who looked like this,
Right.
or who resembled like royalty or whatnot. But what I had her doing was she was collecting souls, and like
Wow.
would be
Yes.
a prosthetic that would be on the back of the actor, with some animatronics on it,
Oh.
Yeah.
with some blinking and maybe some mouth movement. You'd probably use like kind of like what they did in Alien, use like lube to make like drool and like tears and stuff, because that's the other thing. I was gonna just have them all just like bawling like down her back, and like it was gonna be like wet. I am gonna finish this. I really want to finish this up, but
Dude, it was bad enough before you described what it would look like.
Well, yeah, just wait.
Oh.
WWTD, what would Gary do? Bodily
Make
fluids.
lube evil.
but I pictured this character like kind of unhinging her jaw like a snake, and then like sucking out some kind of essence, but the body's just dry. And then whoever that person was, like they're like just on her back, and she just kind of keeps herself fed like that.
Fantastic.
Wow.
This has like Tim Burton's like oh, what am I thinking?
Alice in Wonderland?
Alice in Wonderland, yeah, with a little bit of like the forward face. It looks like a character out of like Metalocalypse or something. Like it's like a crossover.
Yeah.
Would the dress cover those faces when she's out and about? Because the first
Yeah.
one, it's covered.
Yeah, that's what it would be like if it's covered, and then it would just
Wow.
She
fold open.
has like the back of her dress is like constantly crawling and moving like a
Oh.
spider nest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all screaming at once. You just hear all their voices at the same time.
Oh.
Horrifying.
It'd be cool to do like a close shot, but like you can see like all the drool spots and tear spots on the back of the fabric.
Oh, that's
Ew.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hell yeah. That's so
do you
scary.
sleep very well, Gary?
He sleeps like a baby because these thoughts are out of his head.
Yeah.
It's on paper.
And I picture her like offering someone like some candy with her long gross nails. And she's like,
Yeah.
like, you want a mint candy? And she's like, come here. Yeah, then
I bet she uses that cane to smack him too.
oh yeah, just suck that essence right out.
Yeah.
Good job. You creep me out.
And it's funny. I haven't named her or anything. I just call her Madam. That's it.
It's a good name.
Wow.
Madam.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel says, big crib vibes. KRYB. Does that sound familiar?
What is that?
KRYB crib vibe.
What is
I
that?
don't know. I'm
You
sure
have to
she'll
tell us,
explain.
Rachel.
You have to explain in the chat.
You know, it's
Uh,
funny.
Look,
I have Googled so many things during the episode tonight from things you said I say. Like I had to look up wizards immediately. Like just like what is
Oh,
this?
really? Wizards?
I didn't know that one. I missed
You-
it as a kid.
Does anybody have any questions or anything?
Oh,
Or
so
I think-
crib is a yellow lantern that steals babies.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like, as in DC Comics Yellow Lantern, like the Fear
Yeah.
Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
He's got them in his back.
She keeps them in their
Much
back.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a yellow lantern who has like a rib cage that is a cage
Oh.
for things.
That's wild. I
Cool.
figured that'd be more like a Red Lantern thing.
No, that's anger. That's rage.
Yeah, but I know, but
Wait,
it's like
Fear.
they're decrepit
Yellow's
enough to
Fear.
like have that. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
yellow is fear, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's cool.
Ugh,
that
no,
is
it's
cool.
not.
I want to see this character battle the Green Lantern now.
Suck out his essence.
No, I can imagine her being in like one of those horror shorts they do around this time of year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
did approach it how I would do stuff for Crypt TV or anyone else.
I was getting thoughts of Miss oh dang it. I forgot her name. Miss Anity.
Entity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, this would be perfect for that.
Yeah, if you, Internet Land, if you haven't seen that, you should watch that. It's the perfect time of year for it. The episodes aren't super long. You can watch them all in like 30 minutes because they're like super short. But yeah, go check out Miss Anity.
Mm-hmm.
Annity.
Watch it in the daylight or in a room with somebody else. I used to be able to handle horror movies when I was younger, and I don't. After I became a parent, I don't know if that has something to do with it.
It does.
It does it.
Oh
I
yeah.
have to watch them during the day, or I can't watch them alone at night. I have to have somebody else in the room with me.
Well, Rachel herself actually mentioned what's more fear-inducing than for a parent than having your child stolen. So I guess that answers that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that and what about the babies? Seeing the rest of those babies on the back. Be like, yeah.
I mean, they're confused about most things, anyways. But yeah, I'm sure that wouldn't help. I mean, that,
Here's my ride. Yeah.
like, all right, that seems normal. I mean, all of you are here, so we're good.
Well, good job creeping us out, Gary, once again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's time for Adam to bring us some evil.
Hey. All right.
You tamed your hair.
I did. I'm tired of it out of in my face all the time. Let's see.
Whoa. Evil. Sorry, I'm just commenting. Oh.
Scary. So the first thing I do with any of these contests is I just start drawing, just see what comes out. First thing, not influenced by any research or reference photos. And so this whole last month I've been redesigning my clever kaiju design. And so I was thinking maybe I wanted to make this guy like really big, towering over skyscrapers or something. And so it kind of elongated his arms. I had this kind of like blooming, flowery, spiky thing coming out of him. I started playing around with like spikes and headgear and all that kind of stuff. And then sorry, my scans aren't very good, but and I started
I
playing.
see pretty well.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Mhm.
So then I start trying to have enough focus because just evil in general was way too broad, and I was not like finding any footholds mentally. Like where would this thing go? So two kind of guiding lights through this were this J.R.R. Tolkien quote that says that evil is not able to create anything new; it can only distort or destroy what has been invented or made by the forces of good. And so, to me, it all came down to one word, and that's corruption. So I wanted the idea that this is it's not anything new. It is just possessing or taking over something that was good. And so I started coming up with these ideas of it bursting forth from some body. That's why we have like this is the person here, and then the corruption or the evil is actually coming out of them and puppeting their body. And it's this very grotesque, kind of monstrous thing like this. I had this idea for like hands that were mouths, but when they're balled up, their fists they could use to fight. And I was like, "Oh, this is all well and good," and I'm texting Gary like some details about the prompt, and it's like this has to fit somewhere. Like this, it has to be in my mind. It has to be practical. Like the prompt says, it has to be a costume or CGI or something. So I was like, where the hell did this exist then? And I got my inspiration from the Power Rangers.
I saw that when I peeked.
Yeah.
I recognized that.
Yeah, so like, oh, this is going to be freaking one of the giant monsters they have to fight.
That's so awesome.
So I loved, so
Yeah.
going into those research. This episode in particular, when I was a kid, messed me up because I thought they were dead. Which is terrifying because I'm like, oh, he just killed 4 of the 5 Rangers. So what episode? Crazy. So this is where I came to go into the next one. Hold on. Go. Nope. Sorry. Thought I had. No, hold on.
Suspense.
There we go.
Look at that guy.
So this is the corruption coming out of one of the Rangers. Pick the Red Ranger for visual.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's badass.
What was just so cool, like going back and doing research on like those big costumes, they're just hyper weird, well designed. They're enormous costumes on these people. And so I wanted just it to be larger than life, and that so I kept my flowery petals thing, and that he can use that to fight if he wanted to. You know, I don't know. The rib cage is kind of broken and exposed towards the front here, and then these obviously gnarly teeth, and the skull of the previous Rangers is stuck there. So yeah, and I kept the kind of teeth bone design, just almost like claws as it fights. And the front and back, and then the side view where how like things would be placed just for more reference there. And then the last thing I did was just kind of a quick sketch of like just how the guy would exist in the costume,
Nice.
like where his face would go, and then potentially he could have like a I don't know what they're called, but articulate hands. So he could actually, if he needed to like point or grab something, they could do a way of making that happen. All in all, but yeah, that's
That is excellent.
corruption.
Evil.
Evil.
Love it.
So that's the Ranger's skull that's left over.
Yeah.
Like his head opened up into that flowering.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he did.
Is this
Yeah, he
in
did.
watercolor?
Yeah.
8-year-old you is terrified.
Yeah.
8-year-old me is terrified.
Did you do the ink and stuff first and then the watercolor, or did you watercolor first and then go in with black?
No. The first one. Yeah, ink it, and then I go ahead and color it.
Nice.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then you like
Yeah, it
push
looks
out
great.
the black ink and all.
You what?
Did you not have problems with the black ink with it?
Nope. No,
Awesome.
the pen I use doesn't bleed. It's
Good.
incredible.
What's the pen you use to go over your watercolors with, or you inked it first? I'm sorry.
So, I'm sure you guys all seen the brush pen, the Pentel brush pen
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't
Okay.
run. And then just your standard, this guy with this guy. So
Sweet.
That's great
Okay.
stuff.
Is his arm coming out of the purple part on that side view?
well, I wanted you to see. No, I kind of popped it off to the side for design.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For the costume.
Okay.
For the costume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're kind of seeing through his arm.
Right.
Okay.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's so funny. This is exactly what that production art probably looks like for that show.
It's pretty
Like-
close. It's incredible. Like I really did like. There's. It's just some of the wacky. Like they'll have a villain based on like a typewriter, and what they do with that just blows my mind. And then it moves, and like there's people like emoting on screen right in front of you. I watched a recent, just to get the flavor of it. I watched a recent episode, and have you everyone's seen Power Rangers, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, I've never heard of that.
Well, there's this natural progression of the episodes. They get crazier and crazier powers because they have to fight crazier and crazier things. And so jumping in at what seemed like a very almost finale episode, things were popping off fast. Like they're confronting the villain in big form really fast. And then they're changing their forms. And then they brought in like a pyramid thing, and it broke into it. All of a sudden there's like 8 guys on the good guy side fighting this thing, and then they all morphed, and it was just like, golly, this is a lot to follow, but it looks really cool.
What's funny is that there wasn't a script to be found. They all just made it up on the fly.
Good lord. It's, oh gosh, I still like it. I know it's stupid, like it's stupid and cheesy, but like it was like my 4th and 5th grade year was Power Rangers, and it's like, this is my jam. I remember taking my dad to go see the movie, and I remember seeing his face afterwards, and it was the first time I realized that my dad took me to stuff that he didn't like, but knew I would like. You know? It's like, oh, you didn't enjoy that. You're not a fan of this. Okay.
The geek that I am, I took my kids to see this, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's a lot better programming for parents now because I got a 4-year-old, and it's like, oh no, we're watching Bluey again. Oh man, I guess we're not okay.
I watched
And he's
about
really
half.
and he's really into Ponyo now, which, holy crap,
Yeah, that's a
that's
messed
just a
up story
visual
though.
feat. Yeah.
that's got layers.
Yes, it's so good.
My parents, or I was watching this for the first time. It was on TV at like 10 or 11 at night. Actually, 5th grade year. By that point it made it to cable, and I was watching. I was about halfway through it, and then my parents were like, "Hey Nate, we're gonna go home to Iowa. You want to like go on a road trip suddenly?" And now I'm wondering in hindsight if they wanted to take a 9-hour car ride to get away from this movie. Because it was cool, because it was like on a Tuesday, and like they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go visit family in Iowa. You want to take the rest of the week off of school and go?" And I'm like, "Hey, yeah." It was like completely like nothing they would have normally done. They're like, "Okay," so now I'm wondering. I need to ask Dad. Like, "Hey,
You should.
did you just try to get away from this movie? You could have just changed the channel."
Yeah.
I mean, I dug it.
So yeah, there you go.
That was awesome.
Beautiful stuff, man.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Everybody's gonna go pull up an episode of Power Rangers after this.
I know.
Should.
Yeah.
It's still good. Or should I say it's still the same?
It holds up in its own ring.
All right, well, last for tonight, but certainly not least, is Josh, bringing us his version of evil.
All right. So let's see. Can everybody see that?
Not yet.
It's
But
saying
yeah.
that
Alright.
it's sharing, but
Mm-hmm.
there it is.
There it is.
There you go.
Okay.
Ugh.
All right. So for Concepting Evil, I was having kind of a tough time with this one too because I also did the promo image, and I
You
didn't
did,
want to.
that's right.
I
Yeah.
did not want to like blow all my steam on the promo.
That was an awesome promo image.
It was too.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So recently there was those Winnie the Pooh movies. Winnie the Pooh went back into like the public domain, so they made horror movies for
Blood
it.
Honey.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought, oh, you know, it'd be really funny if they made a like Mario horror movie. So that was kind of my thought process behind the promo.
Great.
I can totally see that.
I saw that and I was like, someone please make this. Please.
If anybody missed it, you can go to the Facebook event, and that's the cover image on the Facebook event and on the post about it.
For my other piece, though, I thought about just like what is kind of going on seasonally. So hunting is kind of going on. And recently I heard this Native American story about this creature called the look-away or the turnaround. And it is a creature who's just ashamed of what it looks like, and nobody really knows what it looks like because if you see it, you die. Or it gets you. Or you're never heard from again, or whatever. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. So what would be awesome for me is if I saw a horror movie where it's not like the creature is not the evil aspect, but the people are the evil aspect. So there's a lot of hunters going around and just like getting a bunch of game animals for whatever reason without having to worry about food and, you know, take what you will with that. But I just thought it would be funny if the hunters were hunted by this creature.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be cool if it was a creature that just like kind of scuttles around the forest on all sorts of different limbs and like makes all these weird different noises that are unidentifiable. So if you go searching for it, then it'll come and get you. So I thought it would be really cool if it was like an owl mixed with a deer mixed with like a person. So I just put all these different things together. Let me see if I can move. There we go. All right, so then that was the second sketch I came up with, which was more of like a an amalgamation of all sorts of different things. And I was like, oh, what really creeps me out is if anything gets on like all fours and starts crawling really fast.
Yes. Agreed.
Especially when it has hairy man legs, like fresh out of the shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Close
bear.
your robe, sir.
Yeah. Put your feathers down. So then I thought, all right, well, let's try to tighten this idea up. And I came up with this.
Wonderful.
So it's like a 9-foot creature
Oh,
that just
yeah.
stalks around.
That's cool.
I love
So I've
that.
got the little turnaround.
Yeah.
Uh,
That cloak is cool.
It is.
Right?
Mhm. Yeah.
It's
And then it's got like,
porcupine quills. Nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, because why not? Like,
Oh, I love
right?
it.
Yeah, why not? Just for like another defense mechanism.
so
Yeah.
is it that creature, or is it? Did it harvest these parts from other creatures?
I would say it's more like a skinwalker, where it's like harvesting these parts, but it's like picking up these parts that have been that are from animals who have been hunted, who have not been claimed by hunters. So if you shoot a deer and it runs off and dies in the woods, and you can't reclaim it, or the meat is spoiled and that animal just died for no reason,
Yeah.
then this creature comes and like absorbs its soul and and helps it out
Adds,
and
That's
moves it
cool.
adds it
along.
to its arsenal of.
Yeah, yeah.
Rachel's like, not the human legs. I want to hug it until you gave it these man legs. Yeah,
She
dude.
also says she wants to make a costume out of
Yeah.
it. This would be an awesome
Yeah, I
costume.
would.
Yeah.
Very
So I
Yeah.
also thought about like the actor inside. So I was like, okay, how are we gonna make these deer hooves? Because I thought about CGI too. But I was like, it would be so cool if this costume was like fully like practical effects. So to have a stilt made with like fur around it, almost like a taxidermied deer hoof around a stilt to wear.
Wow.
Love all that.
And then
Yeah.
Oop.
So- I love in the top left in your side by sides there. Just
There
with
we
the
go.
legs sticking out like that, like
Mhm.
I love it.
It's like showing off a little leg for you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey boy.
It is. It's almost like a
That's how
sexy
he
lamp.
lures you in,
kind of
like
vibe.
you got me, Raven Deer.
Yeah.
It also kind of reminds me of the I don't know if there's two different shows, but Adventure Time there's one where a deer just finds its way in and just like stomps out Finn's legs, and then he wakes up from a coma, only to find out that the deer was actually evil and meant to do it the whole time. And he gets up on two legs and he takes his hooves off, and you see little like human hands underneath, and he doesn't say anything. And
Yeah.
he traps them. He has them tied up, and he trapped them, and he just gets up on his rear leg just like that. And he just takes his hooves off, and you see him just wiggle his fingers. I'm like, oh my god, that's so creepy.
I think I have seen that episode.
It's so
That's a
creepy.
good one.
This is great, man. This is a great guide for a costume maker too.
Yeah.
This is
Thanks.
good
Yeah, I
stuff.
wanted all the information to be there, so there was no guesswork.
And the smaller examples there that you've drawn. Yeah. It's awesome.
See, I just had a flash of Kevin Kepi. Do you guys know him? He's like a creature actor, but he came from Springfield. He grew up in Springfield. I met him at VisionCon. And so I follow his Instagram, and he's always talking about the costumes he's getting in. And now I just thought of him probably rocking those stilts. He's already tall and thin. He would be 9 feet easy.
Yeah.
That
Perfect.
costume, but it's so cool to see this side of the costume before it goes on the actor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's
This
Cool.
is
So
a
cool.
lot of the planning stage. This is what a lot of the planning stage looks like.
It's like a dryad cultist or something. Like
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And then after I had come up with the character, I went on Google and I was like, oh, I wonder if surely people have made deer masks, right? So then I look and there's like, basically people have already made this costume 100 times. So I'm like, oh, that's really awesome.
I haven't seen it before.
I haven't either, but I think you tapped into, like, conceptually. I think you came up with a.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
see it. I can see it in the woods. I can see it's like small scale or heavy production horror. You know, it can stalk its prey, like it's this force that someone has to deal with till it kills them.
and pretty
And then just-
inexpensive. Like
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I think it's stunning. I think it's very simple but stunning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did go for like low budget, so it could be really like appeal to a large audience. So it wouldn't have to be like you wouldn't have to spend a lot on the costume. You could really make the storytelling and everything else pop more. But yeah, I have this vision of him just like sitting, in the bush behind some brush, just everything black around him and just staring with the
That would be nice and creepy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that on the side. Put it in the Discord.
yeah.
I just I see it's all almost this omen where you've done messed up if you start seeing this thing.
Yeah. Like, oh what, you see me?
Yeah.
Well, that's not good for you because now I can't leave you alone.
Yeah.
I
And like
just,
and at one point after he's made several kills, there's like part of the forest where there's just these skulls, and so like it could be anyway. It could be any one of those
Oh yeah.
skulls looking down at him that's been collected there, and it just gets to torment him before he kills him. Is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Why don't the 5 or 6 of you just get together and write this horror? Like, just write a horror short.
Yeah, it could be a comic. We just make a couple page comics.
Yeah, let's try to fire
picture-
up that horror anthology again.
Yeah.
I picture like someone like going out at night taking out their trash and like throwing it in the trash can, and then like they turn around in the trash and like the trash bag is hurled back at them, and they're like, "What the hell?" And then, like this thing just stands
trash
up
in my
like
woods.
9 feet tall. It's like it just dwarfs the trash can and the person, and it's just like.
So Rachel says that. Can you please share this on the Discord? Like this is.
Yes.
There's a few different things. Like honestly, we get with some of our writer friends. Like why shouldn't some of these become like a short story, like a short movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was going to use this for a comic.
Yeah,
Good.
I think
Good.
we take these designs
You're
and pitch
in.
them to Cullen and see what he comes up with, and we get some
Yeah,
of our
that'd be great.
fabricators on it. There's no reason we couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now it has to happen.
Yeah, Cullen,
All
we
right,
know
cool.
you're watching because you watch everything, right?
Yeah, because he's not busy writing right now.
Yeah, we'll get on.
Every time I go to the comic shop, there's another comic by him. I don't know.
Yeah.
When he does anything but write.
He just comes up with concepts easy. Like just like that. Like when we had our pitch meeting for Graveyard, he went to the bathroom. We went out to lunch and he went to the bathroom, came back and has the basic idea already written down.
Yeah.
And that's what's great. Like,
You know, perfect
did you wash
segue.
hands?
Tremendicon has a whiskey and words night hosted by Cullen once a month at Best of Luck Beer Hall, where he throws out prompts and people write something in like 5 minutes and share it, and it's super fun.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to join, it's a good night. It's a really good fun time.
Yeah, for all those kids who need pictures to be entertained, you know. Some people actually can use their imagination.
And
All right.
whiskey.
Well, that wraps us up tonight. Thank you guys so
wow.
much. Before we talk about next month, we need to hit the plug zone. And so we should have had Blackie write something down for us.
Yeah.
I know you can find him at Art Devil,
Yeah, on Instagram.
Instagram handle, Art Devil. You want to see Blackie Shepherd.
Yeah,
You
you
wanna
can
look
Google
him
his name. He's been and
Yeah.
he's done a lot of things. A lot of things you probably are already a fan of and didn't realize.
I bought that one of the Pumpkinhead comics.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was
Library
oh,
Con,
like-
wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Library Con. It was Rubelmeisers. Rubelcon.
Oh, right, yeah.
Cons, not even realizing that Blackie and Cullen had done it. I'm just like, this is really cool looking. I'm like, wait, I know these people. Yeah, and it was creepy. I need to look and see if I got the one with that creepy character he was describing now. That was disturbing. Anyway, next up, Eric E. Danger Right. What would you like to plug this evening?
What's up? Instagram profile e.dangerright. Let's see, that's about all I've got for you. I am doing, if you're in the Tulsa area, I'm doing the Tulsa comic book swap this Sunday in Glenpool, Oklahoma, which is pretty awesome.
Nice.
And yeah, that's it.
Cool. All right, Gary, you're up.
You can find me on Instagram at artist Gary Bedell, and we, Clever Kaiju, are going to be in Memphis this weekend at Memphis Comic Con, so come see us when we're out there. And if you are not a part of the community yet, you should join the community at cleverkaiju.com. You can join our Discord through there, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Everything that you need to do is there, and it's free. And you come share your artwork, due to the feedback and motivation and share different ideas, and it's a fun place to be. So if you're an artist, you should be there. Hang out with us. CleverKaiju.com.
If you're not an artist, it is amazing to watch and see all the great stuff. And it's inspirational. I am not an artist. I do not share things, but I have been drawing some of my October prompts.
Yeah, no, and you should share them.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe I eventually will. I have turned it into a calendar game. I don't think my boss watches this. Whenever I'm in a meeting and my mind wanders, I pull it out and I doodle. You guys are very inspiring. So
Well,
join the Discord, be inspired.
Potbelly Mammoth, its full concept artwork was Post-it notes. In fact, I think there's actually more right there. But a backpack full of Post-it notes. It all counts, and save it all. It could, you never know. It could amount to something.
Totally right.
Very true. All right, Adam. What would you like to plug this evening?
I'm on Facebook, Adam McLaughlin,
Woo!
and I don't know, that's about it at the moment.
Aren't you on the Instagrams?
I rarely, I think I post like once every 3 months on accident, kind of.
Oops.
I think I post on Facebook and it posted to Instagram. I'm not really big on there, but
So if you follow him on Instagram, know there's way more on Facebook.
that's yeah, because it didn't make me sound even older. Yes, yes. I want you to go from that to that app to the old one. Yes, please.
And MySpace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still got chat rooms? You still got them AOL chat rooms?
And you hit him up on his Angel Fire too.
All right, well, Josh,
Pager
how
number
about
links
you?
at the bottom.
Josh, where can we find more of you?
You can find me at, let's see, there we go. We got Metter Comics. You can find me at Josh Metter Art on Instagram, and at Clever Kaiju you can read my comics. I'm also working on my website, joshmetterart.com. You can find comics, you can find illustrations, concept art, things from the pen click, sketches, all sorts of stuff. You'll find it there.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Mhm.
And Nate, you gotta draw for us again soon. I know you're busy, but I miss seeing your stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Mr. Production, plug away because you got a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, like what Gary had mentioned with Clever Kaiju, this past year we've really finally been able to like unleash some of the things that we've been planning since we first just sat around a table and complained about all the cool things that we should do. This past year, the education platform, Josh Metter was doing gouache and watercolor classes. Whether you didn't get to catch them at the time live, they're still available, and you have access to all the recordings and stuff. So, I mean, it's $20 for what, like 4 weeks worth of content.
Yeah.
And then we had Brian Atkins doing, like concepting illustrating a comic book from like taking a script and how to doing early concepts of a comic book. It's incredible what we're doing and we have a very active community on both Discord and the website. And as soon as you join in, and it's free. The moment you join in, you see exactly what's going on. It's a constant whirlpool of awesome content. The one gap that we all decided needs to be kind of bridged is getting all that online activity to like in person. And we know that it costs a lot for people to like leave the house sometimes and to take the time to come and to events in person. So we're revamping, like we do one thing a month, and we're really thankful for those that show up, but we're opening up the idea of doing like bigger, like more like events, and so keep in touch, follow us on Facebook, follow us on the website, go to the website, on the Discord. Try to pay as much attention as you can, because we have so much in store that when we start doing these events, we're not going to stop. And it's like, there's so many different things that we want to do, and all of it is still really valuable. So, I mean, when it comes to my focus with Kaiju, it's just trying to trying to connect to the people that we know the names and the screen names and the voices, but we haven't really met you face to face yet. We want to really try and solve that, but and then yeah, other than that, it's as far as my work with the pen click, we've reached a point where also there's so many new people that are interested in signing up. Like we run the show completely differently now, where we tell everybody the stuff ahead of time and people sign up ahead of time before the season even starts. And it's probably the first time I've really been like, oh, okay, I'm not desperately needed just for content to take up time. So, but I'm flattered that you want me. Yeah, but no, this has been a lot of fun, and I'm wanting to revamp and change every, like all the details of how we run the show. So thank you to all of you guys for sticking around. It is a lot to ask of you to come up with this stuff on a deadline for free.
I'm so glad you guys do. I look forward to this. Sometimes I dread having to, I'm like, oh, I have to do that tonight. And I always tell Mike, I'm like, but you know what? At the end of it, I'm always like, I'm so glad I did that. Love the pink click. Love that you guys do it.
Yeah, happy to be a part of it.
I hope it's cathartic for you. I hope this is an enjoyable piece of art, not a work piece of art.
I share the experience of the stress leading up to it, and then after it's over, I'm like, well, it's gonna be another month before I see my friends again.
Oh!
Did you remember, like, oh man, it's tonight? Didn't I go through this already?
Eric, in person, it was at Planet Comic Con. And
Yeah.
running up, and you're like, hey! I'm like, wow! Not a drink and draw, but yeah, I'm just like, I never see your face in real. It's so neat. Well, sweet. Well, it's next month now. What have we got coming up?
Oh, next one's gonna be awesome.
Thursday, November 21st, because once again, this time of year, there's always a holiday at the end of the month. So we're a week earlier than usual. But Thursday, November 21st, the Pin Click draws after Frazetta, which is an homage to the legendary Frank Frazetta. So I'm going to let you guys describe him a little better, because you're going to do better at it than me.
Well, just who he is? He's just this
what he's known for, the sci-fi.
legendary fantasy artist. He's done stuff for like Creepy and Eerie, and he did a lot of Conan stuff. He's done album covers. You've seen his work. Yeah, he's very, very well-known fantasy artist. He's legendary. Does anybody want to add to that?
The full figured women that you see wrapped around Conan the Barbarian's legs, and like those iconic images. Like he made figures work, like it's in a classic painting style that like is still being studied today. Like it's still like there's certain features that he captures in body and anatomy in that. I don't know. I think I'm assuming that that's going to be pretty much the focus of the episode. Just very, just beautiful figured women and huge muscled dudes, and just this sense of lighting and textures. Like I've never seen anybody paint like textures like marble or metal or stone like him, and it's like it's incredible. So
now, is this somebody that inspired you, like when you were younger, that you tried to copy?
No, I was too focused by the content more than the actual like. Oh, that was a human being.
I'd seen his stuff when I was younger, but I didn't know who he was exactly until like my later teenage years. And I had a friend named Gavin show me. Him and his friend Ben, who were also artists, they showed me this guy. And I was like, oh, I've seen this image before. And I've seen this, but I haven't seen this, this, and this. And yeah, I was introduced to Rosetta that way. And Heavy Metal Magazine too, because he did some stuff for Heavy Metal Magazine.
So season 1, we actually released an award called the Juicy Award because Haley and Sarah Salteris, they kept their sense of like the female body. Like they would go back and forth complimenting each other's work with "ooh, that's juicy." So Rachel Norton again on Facebook. She pops in. She goes, "I expect some juicy characters next month." So yeah, we may have to revisit that award.
Guaranteed.
But this is
got
a
it.
really cool an amazing artist that I've had the pleasure of knowing, Jeff Kessinger. He has a piece that we'll be presenting on his behalf. And he is the one that did the title card for next month's episode, but he is a graduated oil paint. He's a master. So this was definitely a challenge even for him. And but it was also like a perfect inspiration for him. We're really proud of what he did, and we can't really wait to start like advertising it. You can kind of look on it. But Jeff Kessinger did a lot of work already, doing full on pieces for next month's episode. So we'll be sharing that around a lot. So you have to keep an eye out for it.
And the Facebook event is up. We are ahead of the game for once. It's pretty up.
Well, that's why.
You guys
He signed
go
up
to the-
for it and then did it before we even realized it was taken. We're like, oh, okay, well.
Well, if you go to Clever Kaiju's Facebook page, go to the events, click that you're going or interested. Facebook will remind you that it's coming up,
Yeah.
so you don't miss it.
Exactly.
One of the few things I like about Facebook. It's like, hey, you got something going on this week. Thank you. Now, I have a list of who has signed up. Everybody signs up way ahead of time now, so there's a chance this list could change a little because, life.
Yeah.
Things come up, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it. But next month, you might get to see Gary Bedell. You're on the list. Kat Miller, Daryl Clonch, Josh Metter, Blackie Shepard, Shannon Patratz. I don't know if I said that right. Sorry, Shannon. Eric E. Danger Wright, Kevin Russell, Jared George, Cliff Gamble, and newbie Kyle Strom.
Oh, Kyle's jumping in. Oh,
Those
that's
to be
good.
Newbie, huh?
Hopefully, everybody
Oh,
has
pretty
Full
nothing.
house, guys.
That'll be an episode with a break in the middle.
I'm gonna be
So-
heartbroken.
That's gonna be a
like, the
big
day
a-
before
that's gonna
we
be a
go,
big
like,
ass episode.
half of them back out. Please don't.
Please don't. Your name has been said out loud. You need to come now.
Yeah, I mean, you signed up 2 months ago. Please don't.
I think this is the most popular one for the year. Like it got filled up fast.
I'm surprised we
Yeah.
didn't wait till the end of the.
11th
It was
person.
like the season finale, but this will be good. I
Yeah.
think this was
So,
an Isaac.
everybody, thank you for coming tonight. Thank you all out there for watching. Please come back next month and see us, November 21st.
Okay.
So, 3. See you, internet.
Bye.
We're still on.